This is the third video I'll be making on policy-based routing. But in this one, this follows on from the first one I made, which was using routing rules as opposed to Mangle rules. And I'll go through the differences of why, and the advantages and disadvantages and whatever. But yeah, again, it's very simple to set up. This is probably slightly more scalable if you want to have multiple devices connecting and easily managed, rather than creating the individual rules for each device or network. But yeah, the topology is the same. We've got a HAP AC or AX, sorry, which is connected to a machine which I'm on right now. We're routing over or out to the internet across my development network, but we've also got an L2TP VPN set up, and that's going to connect to an AWS CHR, and that's going to be where we're going to route this device's traffic to, but without affecting other devices on the network. So let's jump into it. Just a quick flag that we've got this guide you can follow here on my website, MikroTikMasters.com. You can search for policy-based, or you can click on the link in the description. And here I've got the two options. I've got the Mangle Rules one, which we're going to go through now, and then I've also got the routing rules one afterwards. So as you can see, there's not a lot to it. It's a fairly simple setup. Hopefully it's clear enough as I go through it. So as I mentioned, this is my app that I'm on right now. And if I go to PPP, sorry, and then this is my L2TP connection out, and this is connecting to my AWS one, CHR in Australia, and we are. I've added this route. This is my local LAN of my HAP, and this is basically pointing to the IP address of which I'm getting on the L2TP connection on the other side. So this is just so that when I do route across it, I don't need to NAT the traffic. I can just route back again. Hopefully that makes sense. But we don't need to worry too much about that other one. So now what we're going to do is, as I mentioned, we've got this network here, which I'm sitting on right now. I'm on .150, and that's what I'm going to be routing across. So if I do a trace route -D, and then I go to public interface IP address, sorry, as you can see, that is routing out of my development network, which I'll just show you that as well, my routing table. There we go, as a default gateway pointing to that gateway there. Okay, all very straightforward. So what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a secondary routing table. So if you go to routing tables, by default we have this dynamic main one, and then we're going to add a secondary one, and I'm just going to call this VPN-traffic, anything to identify, and then you're going to tick this FIB, which is basically forwarding, allows it to forward the routes from that table. Okay, and that's all we need to do there. Now we're going to create our Mangle rules, and basically Mangle rule is what it's doing is it can be used for many things. If you've seen my video on any sort of traffic shaping, I'll use a Mangle rule there to apply a specific mark to a connection, to a packet, or to a route, based on all sorts of scenarios. So we can do it by address, we can do it by protocol, we can do it by the interface, we can do it by other marks that have been applied, connection state, all sorts. And then there's also advanced. So there's a heap of stuff you can match your traffic on, but because we're talking about outbound, we're going to just do one rule for pre-routing in the chain, which is selected by default. Now we're going to select, here we could put in the IP address that I'm on right now, but again, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I always prefer to use this address list. Here I've already got some set up for local, so this is basically my local subnet that I'm on right now, and then this is just basically networks I want to get to that start with 10, and these are all private IP addresses, so I basically don't want to route any of that. So if I had something hanging off my AWS side that was within this range, I would then need to adjust that, and maybe do it more specific routes. But for now, this is I can be this broad with it. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to add a second address list, And if it's not already in the list, you just type it in here. We'll call this VPN traffic, and then we're going to give it just the single host, so the single IP address, so not the subnet, because we want to just route the one machine. Okay, so that's in there. So then we do source. It's going to come from that, anything in that list. So this is what I mean by if I then had another host in this subnet and I wanted to, instead of having to create multiple routes for every single user or device, I would then just add another one. And as you can see, if you add another one now, I've already got one in that list. It becomes in the drop down. It's very simple. Then we go to destination list. Now basically we want to say we want it basically everything. We want to route all our internet traffic over it. But what I don't want to lose access to is anything on my local machine. So sorry, on my local network, which is why I've got this /8 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select local, but then I'm going to hit this negate option here. So basically that means, as you can see, it's not local. So anything that's not in that route over the VPN, if that makes sense. Then action, we're going to mark the routing, and then in this drop down here, we can now select the mark, which is the new route table we added, which is VPN-traffic. Okay, and with that, we need to add that bit first, and we can leave pass-through ticked. Okay, there we go. We've got our Mangle Rule set. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is now just actually put a route into that routing table. As you can see, everything is in the main routing table. So we're going to add one, again a catch-all, so default gateway. And we're going to point it to the IP address of that AWS on the other side of the L2TB connection, which is that IP there, which you can see is there. Okay, and then the only other thing we need to do is select this in the VPN traffic. Okay. So you can see I've got two default gateways. Normally if I had two default gateways for the same distance, it would have to effectively load balance across them. But they're in completely separate routing tables, so only any of these networks here would be using this one because it's in that routing table there. Hopefully again that's clear enough. So lost access to that one. So now because I'm routing out of this IP address, this is an AWS one and I've only allowed access to this via my local network that I'm on here. So that will be why that just dropped off. So if again we repeat that same trace route. There we go. So it jumps over the tunnel. So that's now the tunnel IP address. Now when the AWS, the first one's going to drop as it leaves my CHR. So I would expect it to do that. And then again, there we go. That's going to continue all the way. Okay. Just to confirm what I'll do, I will let's kill that one. And then run it again. There we go. Now it's going local. 10.2.1. Ping times are obviously a lot better as well because I'm not going across the country. So let's re-enable that. Now I also want to show you that I can still get to, I can still ping my default gateway. Also, I've got a device hanging on the other side of my development network, so it's routing through this this onwards to that 10.2.0.1. And if I didn't have, in fact, I'll prove it. So we'll do a ping to that IP. Okay, it's pinging. In fact, we'll do a continuous ping. Okay, now let's in the address list. Let's take out that one, and then it stopped pinging. Okay, simple. And like I said, if you did have something else on the other side of the L2TB or the VPN tunnel that was in that range, you just need to be mindful that you would need to be a bit more granular with your subnetting. But of course, you knew that. So let's turn that back, and we're all good. So yeah, any question? please comment. Please contact me via the website if you wish. Like I mentioned, that's got all my other any other videos I've made. I've done recently one with bandwidth limiting the push over notifications. They're all here. I'd have step-by-step guides for everything, and then I will do screenshots of Winbox as well as the CLI commands for those who prefer it, and then any detailed information here. Try to be as simple but as detailed as possible. Whatever I find following these sort of guides is when there's a lot of text around everything explaining what you need to do. When sometimes all you want to do is just see exactly and go, oh yeah, I can see that for myself. Because half the time you have half an idea of what you're trying to establish, but there's some small aspect that isn't clear enough. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hope this was some use. Please like and subscribe and check out my other videos. Like I say, if you need a lot of the videos I make are recommendations or suggestions from other people that've seen other videos, I'm more than happy to make them. Sometimes if it's a topic I don't know about, I'll have to go and research and test it and work stuff out, then it benefits me as well because I'm learning something. So please feel free. But if not, I'll see you on the next one. So thank you very much.